Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. Take a close look at this moment. See the secret agent? When I rewatched it, I noticed something even more important. The moment he disappears is the exact same moment G Toilet vanishes too. The same thing happened with the green spheres. The secret agent was on the battlefield there as well. So what does that tell us? It means that the secret agent didn't just give his ability to G-Man. Without him, it wouldn't even work. In other words, he's the one creating that invisibility illusion. And G Toilet definitely knows who's behind it. Now let's think about what was going through Titan Cameraman's head. We already know he went off the radar, so imagine this. You're in the middle of a fight with Astro toilets, saving your Titan friends, crashing into enemies. And suddenly, no one can see you. And even more insane, they try to hit you, but their fists just go right through you. So the secret agent's help, in the case of Titan Cameraman, came out of nowhere. It's super unlikely they'd ever met face-to-face before. Which means, for Cameraman to make sense of what's happening, there definitely has to be a meeting, probably with someone from the secret agent's team. We imagined what that might look like and made this poster. He's lying there unconscious, not understanding what just happened, and someone's approaching to help. For the epic vibe, we used Titan Speakerman in the image, but realistically, it'd probably be G-Man, or even someone small like the secret agent woman. After all, Titan Speakerman doesn't know the secret agent. But this whole video isn't just about that, guys. Funny thing is, this isn't the only time we missed something. I noticed even more of that in Steak's interview. Even in questions Boom didn't answer, the real answer was already there. Let me explain what I mean. Let's start with the fact that Steak sometimes asked super rare questions, like, how do the Astros reproduce? And honestly, it's no surprise that Boom didn't answer this one, just like many others. But I do have something to say here. In one of his replies, Boom actually said that the skibidis are the Astros. So what do we know about the skibidi toilets? We know that most of them used to be humans, but after getting infected by the song, they mutated. They're also capable of assimilating others, like cats. So basically, what we're seeing with the skibidi toilets is a kind of asexual reproduction. And since they're Astros, this method applies to them too. Now, we haven't seen Astros singing to humans to infect them. They usually just kill on sight, so we can't confirm this theory for sure yet. But some of the Astros with Earth markings might not be under skibidi control at all. They could actually be a few humans who turned into Astros themselves. All in all, assimilation explains why the Astros conquer new worlds, to grow their own army. Their numbers can grow exponentially, meaning the more time passes, the faster they expand. That's why they're so hard to defeat. Even if they take losses, they can bounce back almost instantly. Earth isn't one of those typical worlds, though. First, there are only a few million humans left out of billions. And second, the Astros didn't invade randomly. They carefully scouted and prepared before attacking in episode 74, with the goal of eliminating traitors like G-Man and the Scientist. That first wave of Astros we saw at the beginning of the series, they were actually traitors led by G-Man, and they created the skibidi toilets. Then Steak asks about skibidi Jesse and Heisenberg. Judging by the reply, they're still cooking up something for the Alliance, but whether we'll see them again, that's still up in the air. And just to remind everyone, we're talking about the characters from Breaking Bad, who showed up way back in episode 68. Considering how charismatic and unique they are, they'd honestly fit into the skibidi universe perfectly. I think we might actually see them again one day. After all, plenty of side characters, even skibidi toilets like Michael Jackson, Berserker, and Sawblade Guy, eventually became main players. So, fingers crossed, because I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan myself, and I totally recommend watching it. About the unused character designs and ideas, Boom gave a pretty interesting answer. He said he won't be sharing them, but maybe over time, we'll still find out about them in one form or another. Working on any story or project, including Skibidi Toilet, is a creative process. You come up with characters, events around them, but you never know what will actually look interesting or what can be properly done within reasonable deadlines, so some ideas have to be dropped, either temporarily or forever. At the same time, during the work process, you might come up with a new idea that wasn't planned at all, and then the entire episode and even the following ones can change. However, not all failed ideas go to the trash. Some of them might look good somewhere else at another time, and some can be done later much better than now. Boom is still mostly working on the episodes by himself, only getting small help from the team, so his capabilities are limited. Don't forget that. Any creative process includes compromises, sometimes tough ones, like when a bunch of game mechanics get cut from a game because there wasn't room for them in the gameplay. And any creative process is unpredictable. That's what makes it creative. That's why even Boom himself doesn't know all the details of future episodes. They might change at any moment for the reasons I just mentioned, which is what he wrote in another reply, as I understand it. He talks more about working on episodes later. Some characters didn't appear because the episode would have been overcrowded, overloaded, confusing. For example, there were plans for Simp in the 60s episodes, but it didn't work out. And in episode 77, Polycephaly TV Man and Camera Woman were helping TV Man Titan in the battle against Juggernaut by distracting him. That already animated scene had to be cut for the sake of a one-on-one fight, and there's a lot more stuff like that. Simp was gone for so long that it made sense to consider him dead. Kind of like what's going on now with Titan Cameraman, for example. And still, he came back in episode 74, and in episode 79 he even got an upgrade, becoming a new special agent on Camera Woman's level, I guess. There was a similar situation with some technologies, like the orbital camera from episode 17, which came back only in episode 77. Or the anti-parasite tank that was destroyed in episode 55. But after the TV Man Titan was taken over, it became relevant again, and we might see it return in an upgraded version very soon. That scene with the agents helping the Titan reminds me of the battle with the scientist in episode 67, where Plungerman stepped in, just like in episode 57. What's also interesting is that the finished animation was cut. We don't know how much complicated work like that actually gets thrown out, but that explains the long delay in episode releases, which is currently 4 to 5 weeks. On top of that, SFM, the software Boom uses, puts major limits on edits like that, which stretches the work on episodes even more. And now comes the question about the Speakerman's base. Will we see it before episode 80? As you remember from the first breakdown of the interview, Boom is planning one extra scene at the end of the full version of episode 79. It's possible that in that scene we'll see both the new version of Titan Speakerman 3.0 and the base itself, just like we saw Titan TV Man's base back in episode 66. It might be that Big TV Man has been teleporting cameraman personnel and equipment there this whole time. After all, the TV men know where the speaker base is. We know that because Titan TV Man teleported a Speakerman back in episode 25. Where else would he have teleported him if not to his own base for repairs and upgrades? That leads to another interesting point. The Astros only got access to Titan TV Man's broadcasts, not his memory. Otherwise, they would have known the location of that base too. Next question. Will G appear before episode 80? Strangely enough, the answer is hidden in another question that already came up earlier, and I've referred to it several times. Right now, there's a life-or-death battle going on at the Cameraman base, and G's help would be very welcome. He hasn't had any interaction with the Duchess since her arrival, so a conversation between them might finally reveal why he betrayed everyone and shed some light on the past. I remember saying before that Titan Speakerman might appear, and I still stand by that. I'm 90% sure. But the other 10%, considering all this and Boom's words that we're still missing something in our theories, make me think his return might be delayed by one more episode. Because only one character can be in the spotlight at a time, and if we go by the process of elimination, that character will be G. You might have noticed that my video about the 3 semi-titans got a lot of attention from the fandom. Many people agreed with the theory that eventually the semi-titans will form a trio. And honestly, that just makes sense. Steak asked Boom directly about it, but he gave a vague answer. Just said, maybe. Let me repeat it for those who missed that video. I'm 100% sure we'll see a semi-titan in every faction. Why? because Boom has always done it this way, gradually introducing new factions, titans, and special agents. That's what keeps the story fresh. Without big additions like these, it just wouldn't be interesting to follow. These upgrades to titans and entire factions give them new powers, weapons, and gear. And in just 2 episodes in a row, we already got 2 semi-titans. It's only a matter of time before the rest get theirs too. The next question might not seem that important at first glance, but it actually reveals one of the key plot details. Steak asked, "How does the Astroparasite work?" And Boom answered in his usual style, "You mean the core smasher? It smashes the core." Even though the answer sounds like a joke, there's actually something interesting in it. First of all, Boom refers to the parasite as it, an object, not a person. To keep things simple, I'll just call it the parasite. Second, even though it controls the Titan, unlike the skibidi parasites, this thing is just a brainless device. That might be exactly why the Watchman of Doom appeared together with the Duchess. He follows her directly and can't act on his own. We even get a hint about that from what the UFO said right after the infection. So in this case, it's not the parasite that's controlling the Titan, it's the Duchess. The parasite is just a tool forcing the Titan to obey her. Apparently, the core inside also forces the Titan to attack skibidi toilets and agents against his will, and to protect the Duchess at all costs, even if it means dying. This might actually come into play in Part 2 of Episode 79, and we could see him take serious damage because of it. And finally, I wanted to comment on the question about LGBT characters. Boom's answer was, maybe. Steak was clearly referring to characters who experience same-gender love, but in theory, robots aren't supposed to feel that at all. Still, Simp, with his unreturned feelings for Camerawoman, could loosely be considered part of that group, since he's a human in a robot shell who fell in love with another robot. And I mean robot specifically. The photo in the frame was of Camerawoman as she is now, not the woman she used to be before all this. So it's likely they had no connection in the past. I know you're used to full interview breakdowns in a single video, but there's just too much to cover. And long videos aren't really the best option. Better to post more often and with better quality than to cram it all in and make it rushed. So there are still dozens of interesting questions to go over. If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. And if you haven't seen Part 1 yet, I highly recommend watching it. Iron Cameraman out.